This is currently my favorite Farrow and Ball color, and it's our 2022 color of the year choice, mainly due to how darn breathtaking it is. I have no breaths to be tooketh, I guess. It's number 297, Preference Red. This is the incredible combination of classic made cool again. You're pretty cool, so hitting that like button for good karma is also pretty cool. We couldn't wait to talk about this color because I know a lot of our subscribers were waiting for a green color to be selected by us for color of the year. The thing is, there's absolutely nothing wrong with green. It's still my go-to color these days in general, but just based on all the other colors that were being announced by other companies, I'm not convinced that all of you are still going to love green the same way throughout 2022. And even the people that are, Farrow and Ball's Preference Red stood out to me as a complementary color to the wave of green that's been coming out. While green is invigorating and therapeutic, red is passionate, and why not have a color reflective of that? What's great about it is it almost feels like a velvety, dusty, kind of purple-touched red. It's not a sun-dried tomato or even a true burgundy. It sort of sits in its own little world. Farrow and Ball describes it on their website and does a really good job. They say it is the deepest and richest of their reds. This Baroque color is named in honor of our original trade name, Preference Paints. It can be used with any of the red-based neutrals. So let's get to some colors that I picked to go alongside it, some of which may in fact be those red-based neutrals as well. The light color I've selected is called Slipper Satin, which really is an off-white that is effortless and pleasant. I wanted to start with something very passive because Preference Red, on the other hand, is quite dynamic. Surprisingly, Slipper Satin is more beige than greenage. It doesn't have a ton of gray, which could give the illusion of a green undertone, but Slipper Satin, if anything, takes a baby step towards red warmth rather than yellow, preventing that green undertone from coming through. Because of this, it works as an excellent neutral base for Preference Red, and the two mesh together with no issues whatsoever. For the mid-tone color, I'm going with the funnily named Old White, which is actually quite far from being a white paint color. I guess the thing that they share is you could deem them both being pretty neutral, even though Old White ends up being a sandy gray-green. You would have seen this color used liberally on the walls before everyone became obsessed with bright whites, and that's why this is the Old White. See what I did there? The original white. My thought behind this choice was essentially reflecting the more traditional way to utilize Preference Red, at least color-wise, and that's by combining it with another classic color. And I just want to remind my younger audience watching, old stuff is cool. But not only that, you can take a classic color combination like these two and then reinterpret them in a more modern context to almost repurpose them. But if we're talking about my personal favorite combination or color pairing, it would be the third, the dark one. And it's from the California collection by Kelly Wearstler called Tar. It's a charcoal black that is actually not a deep dark black, it's a little bit muted. And this could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on what you're going for. Good if you were worried about true black being too dark for your purposes, but not so good if you were looking for that maximum contrast. I really enjoy Tar because it opens things up a bit more in terms of its added versatility. You could have a lot of fun with that black or that charcoal gray and Preference Red combination, but if you really wanted to maximize that red and black combination, I would personally lean towards a color of the year choice we spoke about in a previous video. What about an off-white color for your trim? Well, we can look no further than that California collection I was talking about earlier and go with Salt. Salt is an interesting one for me because it takes that red from Preference Red and sticks it in a big white bucket of paint. What you're left with is the lightest of grays with a touch of hot chocolate brown to round things out. It's more kosher salt than Himalayan pink salt, but there's both of them in there. I also think that by avoiding a yellow-leaning white, it helps to modernize your color palette even further. I'm so excited to hear what you think about not only this color of the year, but the rest of our choices as well. If you've missed our color code episodes on the basic and bold choices for the year, they're right here for you, and I'm so excited to see what 2022 has in store. I bet you didn't think you'd hear anyone say that, right?